Hey everyone, it's David, wrapping up week 9, almost in the double-digit weeks. This week started out kind of cloudy, gray, and a little bit gloomy. Pretty damp too, but at least it wasn't cold. So the cold weather seems to have pushed off for just a little bit longer, and hopefully it stays off for a little while. Later in the week it did warm up a little bit, and the sun came out, and all the trees and their leaves changing color started showing again. But like I said, still not cold yet outside, which I'm grateful for, but fall is definitely in the air, and there's a smell of leaves and the autumn smells that I haven't smelled in quite a while. Last month I celebrated 40 years on this earth, and so this week I got a package in the mail from my grandma, and so I went and picked that up from the mailroom and opened it up, and it was a puzzle, which I love doing puzzles, as everybody knows from this channel already. This one was a Labrador puzzle, which I've been working on diligently, and I just love doing puzzles, so it gives me something to do in the evenings. This is the progress I made so far on it. I'm still working and chipping away at it. I decided to make some carrots because my father-in-law said that he had done some carrots in his air fryer not too long ago. And so I went to the store to find some carrots, and all they had was these gigantic, massive carrots, which I didn't mind. They were so big because it just made more for me. But yeah, they were a massive undertaking just because they're so big. So I chopped them all up just into discs, which turned out to be a problem later because they were so big. They're not easy to put in your mouth. They're like a bite-sized piece of carrot. But I chopped them up into discs and then threw them in a bowl, and then decided to spice them up real good. So for these, I did just like the regular salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil. Again, like I said, salt, pepper. And then I decided to put some garlic in there. So I chopped up a clove of garlic, minced it up real nice, threw that in the bowl. And then I decided I wanted to spice it up a little bit. So I had a jalapeno, so I decided to slice that up and do the same thing, chop it up real fine and put that in there. Some of these jalapenos that are growing over here are kind of dangerous because you'll get maybe one or two that's not hot at all, and all of a sudden one will be extremely hot. So I was a little bit sparing with it. Turned out I could have used a little more, but oh well. I added some garlic salt and some onion powder, and then shook that up real good. And once it was all shook up, dumped it in the air fryer. I know you're not supposed to pour it all in there at one time, but yeah, it turned out just fine. So threw it in the air fryer for I think right about the full 18 minutes at 400 degrees. And when it came out, they were just right, and they were really, really good. And along with that, I made some chicken. Threw that in the air fryer too. I've been using the air fryer more than I use anything else lately, so very grateful that I have the air fryer. So thank you for that, Dad. I made enough to last me throughout the week. My schedule's changed a little bit to working longer hours, so it was nice to have some leftovers. After that, I watered my plants and made sure I took all the dead leaves off. This pot that was by the window has been getting a little brown, so I made sure I water it, and I think the lack of sunlight's kind of getting to it. Made sure all the other plants in the apartment had some water, and after that, I decided I would try my hand at the knot tying book my dad had sent me last month. I'm usually pretty good at tying knots. I was a Boy Scout, so back in the day I knew all kinds of fun knots. I humbled myself trying to tie some of these knots. They look pretty straightforward, but yeah, most of them weren't. So I was having a good time trying to master some of these knots, but it didn't come easy. All the directions were pretty clear, but I think I'm just rusty at tying knots. So I gave up on the first one, decided to go for the next one. The next one looked pretty cool. I think it's the butterfly knot. I was having some trouble trying to figure out exactly how this knot worked. And by looking at the illustrations, trying to copy exactly what was on there, I was still having trouble with it. But after a couple of attempts, I finally got it looking like what the picture did, and then was able to loop, swoop, and pull basically, and ended up getting the knot to look semi-close to what the illustration had. So I was proud of that accomplishment. So I decided at that point I better leave well enough alone and take the win for what it was. Later in the week, I got another email saying I got another package, so I went and picked that one up, and my father-in-law sent me a care package all the way from Texas. So I got a whole bunch of good stuff in that package, a bunch of Mexican candies, a lot of products from H-E-B, which for people don't know what H-E-B is, it's a Texas chain of grocery stores, and they have a lot of, products that they distribute, and a lot of import products as well. And I love the Mexican candies that they have there, so I was very grateful to receive this package. I ended up taking a bunch of this into work with me and distributing it out to a lot of the people that I work with, and a lot of them have never seen anything like this before. And some of the Korean people over here were very fascinated by what it is that they have in Texas and Mexico for snacks and different types of candies. There's some similarities in some of them, but for the most part, these were brand new and never before seen by some of the people that I work with. So it was fun to introduce them to some of the things that I used to eat back whenever I lived in Texas. So. I also got another package the day after that, again from my father-in-law. Thank you, Dad, who sent me a taco making kit. So I got some taco shells. I got some stuff to make a Mexican rice, and then also got some salsa in there. And then this is handmade chopsticks, which my father-in-law, I requested handmade chopsticks for, I think it was a birthday or something like that. And so he got me a whole bunch of made a whole contraption, bought a contraption to make wooden chopsticks. I also got some popcorn in that box, and then a special blend of spices that he produces, which is just super aromatic and fragrant and just wonderful. And this one, I didn't know what it was until I unwrapped it. I was thinking maybe it was another thing for tacos, but it's actually a stone that has 3 people on it: a father, a wife, a daughter, and then a doggy on it to represent our family, which, thank you, Dad. So I ended up putting that in a special place in the bonsai pot, so that way I could see it every day whenever I walk by it. It was a gloomy day, so I decided to go thrift storing. So I went to see what I could find, and at the thrift store I found this pillow for my couch, kind of matches. So I also found this little banana holder. Yes, the bananas are gross, so I threw them away. I also found something to spruce up my little front stoop, so a mat and an artificial plant. Later in the week, I started playing with a worship band, so on Thursday nights I have practice with them. So I played for the first time, and I was received very warmly and with welcome open arms, so I was very grateful for that. I've been wanting to get plugged in and finally have, so service went well. I decided to take a nature walk just around the local area to see exactly what the trees are looking like, and it's supposed to start getting rainy and colder here within the next few days, the next few weeks, so I decided to get out and take some video of all the different foliage around the area before it gets too cold and too wet to even go out. One of the trees I really like and try to bonsai many times is Japanese maples, and the Japanese maples just grow wild here and they flourish, and they're one of the prettiest trees in my opinion, just because whenever they change their colors during the different seasons, their leaves can change from greens to yellows to these very vibrant reds and oranges, and you really know 2 trees are exactly the same, and they seem to change leaves and colors at different periods of time. So I love Japanese maples, and it's neat to see them just growing wild around here. And some of the haze in the air is actually pollution that blows over. So it gets a little bit hard to breathe sometimes. And there's definitely times that you don't want to be outside at all when the air quality is really poor. You're highly encouraged to wear a mask when you're outside, or just not even go outside at all. So during this whole day that I was walking around, there was a smell of almost like a grass fire in the air, and it's just the pollution that blows over. Unfortunately, it kind of gets stuck on the peninsula. But there's nothing you can really do about it, but it definitely irritates your allergies and your sinuses. And all you can really do is just kind of deal with it. And like I said, just don't go outside whenever it's too bad of an air quality. And then this is one of the Japanese maples I was talking about. And this one was just a vibrant, like a violet red. And it was really, really pretty. But then the tree right behind it still green. So, yeah, like I said, the trees seem to have their own personalities and vary from the individual tree to individual tree. But the leaves are definitely coming down and starting to fall off the trees. And I think a few windy days are ahead of us that'll start pushing off the leaves. And then to wrap up the week, we finally had our church service. And that was the first service that I participated in. It went very well, and I was happy to do it and happy to be plugged in again. Well, that's all I got for this week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening. God bless you all.